Hello, my name is Jacob Toddson, and welcome back to the Wisdom of Odin. Today, we're going to be answering a community question, and this question's on matron and patron deities. And wrapped up into this conversation of matron and patron deities is the fact that I don't talk about it very often, or at least I haven't talked about it in a number of years. And so we're going to be diving a little bit into the history of what are matron and patron deities, did they exist in the ancient past, and then of course we're going to be talking about how this idea survives today, and then we'll be answering this question because I think it'll be a good example of kind of where to focus on if you're getting into polytheism for the first time. So to get the definition of matron and patron deity out of the way, essentially it is a modern terminology to describe a personal relationship that you have with one individual god within a polytheistic belief system. And a lot of people getting into paganism for the first time hear this terminology and assume that they need to find a specific god to focus on, and I would even say that there's this idea that you need to do this. Now you might be thinking after all that this isn't a historical concept at all. And while the terminology might not be something that goes back into the ancient past, the idea of focusing on one god within a polytheistic belief system, that is something we do have some historical information on.
The idea of focused worship of a specific deity within polytheism goes all the way back in history to ancient Egypt, where specific temples would honor specific deities within their vast pantheon. This suggests that there were priests who would also maintain those temples for that specific god, and then worshippers would be then going there to pay respects and attend services to that specific god as well. Some examples of this would be the Temple of Edfu, which honored Horus, Dendera Temple, which honored Hathor, and the Philae Temple, which honored Isis. The Greeks and the Romans were also very similar. They had temples that honored specific gods, and they even had this idea of like a god that overlooked the state, particularly within ancient Greece, Athens and Athena being the most obvious of those. My favorite personal example is still the Temple of Solis Minerva in England, because it's an early Platonic goddess tied to a healing spring that was also canonized by the Romans and then merged with the Roman goddess Minerva. And then the Romans built this like large temple and bath complex on top of the holy spring, which is also the only hot spring in England. And there, priests were specifically aligned to Solis Minerva, and practitioners would go there specifically to honor, to heal, and sometimes to curse others. Now, what about Scandinavia? Well, this is where the information gets a little less specific. The best example I can think of is how specific towns were named after gods, in particular all the place names that connect to Odin and his various names. You also see this in towns named after Tyr or even Ullr, which is why scholars believe that Tyr and Ullr were honored more specifically in the ancient past before the written histories were recorded down about the Viking Age gods that we know today. We also have the gold Brachtiatus or Brachtiats, one of which describes someone being Odin's man. This is also the oldest mentioning of Odin's name. And finally, you have an account within the saga of the Icelanders where a woman describes that she wishes to go to Freya's hall upon death, suggesting she had a form of focused worship.
So what does all this mean for you now? Should you follow a matron or patron deity? Now, within our modern reconstructions of paganism, which have been going on between 100 to 200 years, depending on where and who you ask, the concept of matron and patron deities, I think, more or less comes from the modern reconstruction of Wicca within the 20th century. And this is because the concept of the Lord and the Lady within Wicca morphed with the pagan revivals as well, and leading to people choosing a masculine figure or a feminine figure or one of both to follow within their personal pagan practice. Now, this is my kind of like deduction from witnessing paganism over the last few years. It seems like a lot of people who are Wicca leaning typically take on the identity of a matron or patron deity, and the people that are heathen or Celtic reconstructionists, all the different terminologies here, typically they don't have a concept of matron or patron deities. But as pagan circles mix and evolve, more people kind of have this conversation, where to the point I have a lot of people getting into Norse paganism or heathenry or even the Celtic belief system wondering about matron or patron deities. But just because it's something that might not have a direct source to the ancient past, as we talked about already, there are these ideas of people who focus on one god throughout their entire life, and definitely within like windows of their life as well. And I think this is a very normal and healthy practice. You're going to go through different deities depending on what stage of your life you're in. And I think that's one of the beauties of polytheism, is we're not one individual throughout our entire lives. We are many different versions of ourselves at any given time, and these change as we age and have different experiences. And so it's only natural that you're going to have a different connection to a different deity as you continue to move forward in your life. And so I think it can be a really healthy practice. Now, for myself, I don't necessarily use the terminology of matron or patron. This doesn't really feel connected to me. I just simply say, oh, I'm really focusing on Odin right now, or I feel like I'm in the Thor time of my life, or the Freyr time of my life. I made a video a few years ago talking about focusing on 3 gods at any given time, and this is because we see this triptych of deities throughout history. We have this account of early Uppsala that there was 3 gods at the Temple of Uppsala. And we see this, the 3 repeated within the Roman belief systems. We see it repeated within the Celtic belief systems, this idea of 3 gods being tied to worship. And I think this is a really healthy practice within polytheism. So I don't necessarily recommend having one god you focus on. This could be beneficial to you. But I think because you are getting into polytheism, or you are a polytheist, I think you should lean into that. And part of that, I think, is worshiping multiple gods at once.
Question I have is there some sort of fire patron or god in Norse or Celtic traditions in the vein of Saint Florian as the patron saint of firefighters? Thank you for your work. Now, I do want to answer this question specifically, but I wanted to have a brief second to talk about the fact that, like, this idea of Catholic patron saints is a surviving account of how paganism used to work in polytheism. But before the Council of Nicaea, there was actually a lot of debate whether or not Christianity was actually a monotheistic religion. Some people actually saw Jesus and God as 2 separate entities. And so they actually believed that they were dual theistic, or I forget the exact terminology, but they basically believed in 2 gods. And then there were some people that believed in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and that actually they were 3 different entities. And then eventually what won out at the Council of Nicaea is that they were all one. So there was the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, but they were all one God, and they were monotheistic. But something that they also struggled with is people worshiping angels. And that's why there's specifically a line that you will not put any others above me, or above God, or Yahweh. And that's because people within the Judaic faith were actually worshiping angels at the same level. So people have had this relationship with polytheism for a very long time, and it's something that actually, I think, really struggles to get out of us. Essentially, what I'm trying to say here is that humanity has had a relationship with polytheism much longer than we've had a relationship with monotheism, and I would even argue that we've had a much more natural relationship with it because, I mean, we've been doing it for so long. Monotheism really is a modern concept.
So who should someone venerate if they are a firefighter and they are looking for protection? So I actually have 2 answers here. One, I think, is my first gut feeling. If you're looking for the god to venerate to help protect you, I would recommend Thor. Thor is a deity that gets overlooked sometimes, especially with the Marvel movies and things like that. People don't want to worship Thor anymore, but Thor is the most widely worshipped deity that we know of the ancient past, and he was more of the god of the common person. A firefighter, while extraordinary, thank you so much for everything you do, is part of the common realm. You help the common realm protect themselves from fire. And so having Thor, the protector of the commoners, the protector of the realms, and he literally battles giants. And so I think Thor is a really great connection. But the perspective I really wanted to share here is something that I think people in the past would have had more of a connection to. And we see this within the tale of Utgarder Loki. In the tale of Utgarder Loki, Loki participates in a feast where he has to compete against someone in order to completely finish the feast before the other individual to prove his ability to eat. And he eats everything besides the bones, whereas the other individual eats everything, including the bones. And that is because the individual he was facing against was Logi, the spirit of fire, the god or primordial fire. And the lesson here is that even Loki, a god of mischief and trickery, could not beat Logi, the essence of fire and wildfire, because the fire is all-consuming. And so if Loki cannot beat the spirit of wildfire and ravenous fire, then what hope do we have? And I think, even within the firefighter perspective, there's not every fire is something we can tame. Fire really is like this uncontrollable beast, and it's something that even in our modern world we still struggle with. And so fire is something that we can battle, but it's something we're never going to ultimately win against. And so praying to the spirit of Logi, of fire, the Highland song Eldersuren invokes Logi as well, and the different names of fire. I really do think that, when it comes to fire and the primordial element of it, we don't have a chance. And so honoring it in the way of basically acknowledging Logi, great fire, I recognize that I cannot tame you. I can only hope to save other people, or, please, do no harm to me. Have a little offering you give of salt or something like that, or bones you give to the fire, acknowledging its great power and keeping that humbleness, which I'm sure a firefighter has no problem dealing with when it comes to dealing with fires, is being made humble by them. But yeah, I think a lot of the times all we can do is get out of the way. We can't necessarily make deals with them, just simply acknowledging the great power of the natural world and those primordial elements.
Part of this video I didn't actually expect to kind of go on a ramble on until I kind of thought about it while recording, was this idea that we are inherently polytheistic and that monotheistic is actually not very natural to being human. And this is something I want to explore in a larger video, so I definitely want to hear your thoughts. So please share any thoughts you have about, are we inherently polytheistic, your relationship to monotheism or polytheism. Please put them in the comments below so I can kind of get an idea of your thoughts on this, because it's something I've been reflecting on a lot lately, is I really do genuinely believe that we as humans are inherently polytheistic. So if that sounds like an interesting video to you, make sure you subscribe and all that good YouTuber stuff, and look for that video hopefully in the next few weeks. But with that, thank you so very much for joining me for this video discussing matron and patron deities. Let me know down below your thoughts: polytheism, matron, patron deities, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video here at the Wisdom of Odin.